Welcome back everyone. The Samsung Galaxy S21 just came out and I'm pretty sure everyone already knows that. So let's go ahead and compare it to another device that came out just a couple of months ago from Samsung, the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. Now I went ahead, I bought these phones, I reviewed them kind of, I've had them for a while, at least the S21 not really, but I can definitely tell you at the end of the day, as always, one of the biggest difference between these two phones is always going to be the price tag. So I'll go ahead and find the cheapest Note 20 and the S21, link them down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, I think a used Note 20 is probably cheaper than a brand new S21, so keep that in mind. But really, when you look at them, there are some similarities, there are some differences. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 on the front does have that 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display, and it is a 1080p panel, so you're getting almost the exact same resolution on both, but do keep in mind the Note 20 does have an overall bigger panel. It is 0.5 inches bigger than the S21. Now, you have a Super AMOLED Plus panel. I think it's a good panel for sure, but you don't really have the 120Hz refresh rate on this panel. That's more so the Note 20 Ultra feature. And I think for the price that you're paying for the Note 20, that is kind of like a necessity. That is like something that I'm surprised the Note 20 doesn't have. The S20 FE at a cheaper price tag had that capability. So the fact that the Note 20 didn't have it is something that just rubbed me the wrong way, and it's honestly one of the bigger problems with the Note 20. You do have that hole punch display, so it looks good, but I do think at the end of the day, it's kind of a big problem with the Note 20. The Samsung Galaxy S21, on the other hand, has that 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display. It's a 1080p panel. So again, same exact resolution on both phones, but you are getting a smaller panel, so the pixels per inch are actually higher. But the bigger difference between these two phones is actually that refresh rate. The Samsung Galaxy S21 actually does have a higher refresh rate on that panel. That's something that the Note 20 doesn't actually have. And I think that is probably the bigger difference. As stated before, you have pretty much the same looking display. You do have that hole punch display and everything, but the fact that the S21 does have the 120Hz refresh rate is seriously one of its biggest advantages for sure. So at the end of the day, the front, the Samsung Galaxy S21 definitely wins. USB Type-C ports on the bottom. The Note 20 does have that S Pen capability though, which is another pretty big advantage. The S21 Ultra has that capability, which is kind of funny. The S21 does not have that, so do keep that in mind. Now on the back, they do have kind of the similar thing going on, which is extremely interesting. Plastic bags on both. Now the Note 20 kind of originated this from Samsung, recently. They used to have plastic bags with like the Galaxy S5 and stuff, but since the Galaxy S6, no other phone, or even like the Note lineup, the Note 4 was the last one to have, the plastic back. Since then, no Note phone had a plastic back until the Note 20, and that's kind of a big deal. The S21 kind of followed suit, and they kind of look like the same thing. They kind of have the same type of camera module a little bit. They kind of look the same. They kind of felt the same too. And I don't know. It's a plastic back. They both have it, so it's kind of a con on both. So it's not really like a pro. It's not really helping either one out. And I think that's a really big problem for both phones. I don't know what Samsung was thinking for both of these, but they do have wireless or, reverse charging, obviously wireless charging. So it definitely has some capability. You still have IP68, dust and water resistance on both too. So IP certification. And you don't really have a micro SD card slot in either one of these phones either. And again, that's just another big problem. When you have a phone like this, you don't want it to have less I/O than the previous generation. And that's pretty much exactly what we were getting in this specific case. So again, another L, I guess, for these two phones. So in terms of the outside, funny enough, they have more similarities than differences, but I think the biggest differentiating factor is that the S21 does have the 120Hz refresh rate, where the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 doesn't have that capability. Now we'll go ahead and hit on the cameras now since we're already on the back. They both have triple camera setups, and they both have the same type of lenses, 12 megapixel wide angle lenses, 64 megapixel telephoto lenses, and then 12 megapixel ultra wide lenses. And I think at the end of the day, these cameras are probably almost the same exact thing. They both have 8K capability, and there really isn't anything that the Samsung Galaxy S21 can do that the Note 20 can't already do. I think maybe the bigger difference is the super steady video filming that you can do on that ultra-wide sensor of the S21. But other than that, I think it's almost the same camera. The Note 20, when it first came out, I even said at that time, I think it was one of its biggest advantages. That camera lens on these type of phones are really, really good. And I think at the end of the day, when you get a device like this with this type of camera lens, you are future-proofing yourself for quite a bit of time. I don't think you're going to future-proof yourself forever, but again, I mean, 8K capability on the Note 20, that is a very strong feature to have. And at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to make some crazy vast improvements for all camera modules and people are going to use 4K and 8K every day. I don't think that's going to happen. But the S21 also has that same capability. The front camera is 4K 60 on the front as well, so not a big difference there. But definitely when it comes to the back cameras, they're both kind of the same. I would probably give the S to the Galaxy S21 just for having a little bit more capability, but I don't think it's even that big of a difference. I think at the end of the day, they're both almost the same. And I would not go from a Note 20 to an S21 just because of the camera. That's probably one of the least biggest differences between the two. So in terms of that really pretty much covers up the camera difference. Now, moving on to the software and the battery life, I think honestly, this is not really a big difference, but if you had to upgrade because of one thing from one of these phones, I think it would probably be because of this specific situation. So with the Samsung Galaxy Note 20, because it is going to be pretty much following the same exact software lifecycle as the Samsung Galaxy S20, it makes me think that the S21 is going to outlast the Note 20 and the S20, just like how we've seen in every single other Samsung phone Samsung's ever made. The Note lineup of that year and the S lineup of that year match up and do the same softwares. Look at the Note 10, look at the Note 9, look at the Note 8, same exact software versions. So that's pretty much what's going to happen here. And if I had to go and upgrade from the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 to the S21, this is probably the one reason why I would do it. I don't think I would, jump from one phone to the other because of any other reason besides this specific thing, which is the software. So you're going to be getting at least an extra year of software versions going from the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 to the Samsung Galaxy S21. Is it a big deal? I really don't think so. You're really not going to notice that big of a difference, but as stated before, if I were to go and upgrade, it would be because of this. It wouldn't even be because of battery life, because the battery sizes are so identical. You have a 4,300 mAh battery on the Note 20, but you have a 4,000 mAh battery on the S21. So you're getting almost the same size battery, definitely not the same exact. You're getting a bigger battery on the Note 20, but you also have a bigger, powerful display that you have to kind of push more pixels on, but you do lack 120 hertz on that panel. It's kind of like a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that you're going to be getting a much better looking panel, but the con is that you're going to be sucking out more battery life from the S21. So the battery life is going to be better on the Note 20, but the software is going to be better on the S21. So pick whichever one you want, but the differences between the two, in my opinion, I would rather go for the S21 in this specific case than the Note 20 in my opinion. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. Now, performance-wise, this is another case in point where I honestly think this is just another area where I think the S21 is going to be better, but it's not really going to be that big of a difference. So the Note 20 had that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus chipset with 8GB of RAM. There's only one model of that device, where the Samsung Galaxy S21 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset with 8GB of RAM. There were two different models. Both those models had 8GB of RAM. Now, this is what I'll tell you. Both these phones kind of perform exactly the same. I don't think there's a big difference between these two phones, but I do think one of the main differences is because of that 120Hz refresh rate. I just feel like the Samsung Galaxy S21 feels smoother, performs smoother, and just is the smoother phone overall than the Note 20. It's probably aided with that newer chipset, but I really don't even think that's that big of a difference, because when I compare the S20 and the S21, it's almost like the same type of performance. But these type of phones, the Note 20 is still going to be extremely fast, and I think every single thing that you wanted to do on the S21, as long as you're not comparing them side by side, you're probably going to be getting the same exact type of experience on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 as well. Now, if you're comparing that the Note 20 and the S21 Ultra, there may be some more differences because of the RAM and everything, but between these two phones, I really don't think you're going to notice that big of a difference. You're getting the same amount of RAM, you're getting equal performance. The S21 is going to be better, but at this caliber, they're all fast. All these phones are fast. You're not going to notice that big of a difference. So keep that in mind. But I'll probably tell you, if when it comes down to it, the Samsung Galaxy S21 is faster and it's smoother because of the 120Hz, but the Note 20 is still an extremely fast phone. And as I stated before, I would not go and upgrade from a Note 20 to the S21 just because of the performance. There are other reasons to upgrade to it, but I wouldn't do it because of this. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. And to kind of sum up the video and to answer the question, should you go and buy a Samsung Galaxy S21? Should you go buy a Note 20? Should you upgrade? Let me just tell you like this. If you have either one of these phones, I would not go from one phone to the other in this list because of whatever reason. I honestly would not do it. It just really doesn't make any sense to me. They're both kind of identical. They have the same pros, they have the same cons. The Note 20 is a bigger phone, and it does lack some things that the S21 has, such as, the 120Hz and maybe like And that's really the main feature I can think of. But the Note 20 does have the S Pen, which is really cool. You're getting a bigger display, which is really, really nice. You're getting that fingerprint sensor in the display still. You're getting Samsung DeX. You're getting a beautiful camera on the front and the back. USB Type-C, obviously. You're getting a really good feeling phone. They both kind of flop in the same areas. No micro SD card slots, plastic backs. It's just kind of things that nobody really likes, and I guess people get used to it, but they both kind of flop in the same thing. They don't really excel in like other areas besides the 120Hz refresh rate on the S21. But again, you do get that S Pen on the Note 20. So it kind of comes down to, what do you want right now? Do you want a phone that'll last you forever, or do you want a phone that'll last you kind of like a long time? And if you're kind of in like you want a phone that'll last as long as possible, the S21 is the one for you right now. But I would honestly probably recommend picking up like a OnePlus 8T or something, or like a Pixel 5. Those may be better decisions. But between these two, I would personally rather have a Galaxy S21, just because I like a smaller form factor and I like the 120Hz refresh rate. I can kind of get by with a little bit less battery life because I'm always around a charger now, and I like having that reverse wireless charging that both these phones have. I think the only reason you would want to pick up a Note 20 here is if you want to save some money, or if you want to have a bigger display and an S Pen. If you don't really care about a bigger display or S Pen or the price, the S21 I think is like a no-brainer. It's a newer phone, it's going to last you a longer time. But if you're okay with that, and if you're okay with not having a phone that'll last you like an extra year, and if you don't really care about, I guess, the 120Hz, then I think the Note 20 is an awesome phone as well. So that really pretty much covers it up. That's kind of what I would say. Again, these phones are linked down below, so you can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. But that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.